very, very selective with players during the time I was here. And I'll tell you one thing, that man that was just up here a moment ago, I'll tell you, that sumbitch could play for me. This was a real neat thing for me because I have for some time leading up to where we are now felt that above anything else, this country needed Donald Trump. And that was before I ever even got to know him. I thought that just reading about him and studying about him. And I think it's a tremendous opportunity that you folks have. You know, I have never voted. I'm not here to represent the Republican Party. You know, quite frankly, I don't give a damn about the Republicans. And then on the other hand, I don't give a damn about the Democrats either. But I really think that we have, as Americans, a great opportunity not to represent a political party, but to pick the best that we have available to lead the United States back to where we want it to be. And this man's not a Republican. He's not a Democrat. Heart, he's just an American. And you find as time progresses that, and I was a history major in college, and I've spent a lot of time studying about history, and as I've gotten to know a little bit about politics, that. But just believe me when I tell you that there has never been a person with a background that has better prepared him for entrance into the White House than the backing, all that he's done, the things that he's gone through, what he's done, the businesses that he has erected, and even some of the problems that he's had, because what he's done that nobody we have now can do. What Mr. Trump has done is when things have gone wrong, he hasn't whined and complained about it. He's figured out how the hell to fix it. And that's one thing that you can bet. I mean, he's going to take care of things that have not been taken care of before. And you folks here in Indiana, first of all, let me tell you that I want to thank you for having had the opportunity to coach here, because basketball my favorite thing probably in the world next to my wife is basketball. And you folks adopted the game before anybody else did, and you thought more of the game of basketball than anybody else has. You've had great players and great teams and schools, and I just want to thank you for having been a part of that and having had the support that you folks had. And I'll tell you this, I want you to keep in mind that Mr. Trump said about how many games we'd won and so forth. Well, those games were won by kids that wanted to play at Indiana, and they played with a uniform that said on it, Indiana. And that's something that you should take pride in. And are you standing, or can you sit down, or what do we got there? I mean, you know, I'll tell you what, you can stand long enough till your ass is dragging now. That's why want you to sit down and relax a little bit here. That's great. I this that I'm not here to represent the Republicans or the Democrats. You know, I'm here because I think he's the best man. I think, you know, you've had some great politicians here, and why I don't think the party makes a damn bit of difference, because I'm going to throw two names out to you that I will forever be grateful for having known, and they were Doc Bowen and Birch Bayh. One was a Republican, the other one was a Democrat, but both of them were Indiana people. And that's the same thing with Donald Trump. More than anything else, not a Republican, not a Democrat, not born here. He's an American. And if you folks will get together and go out and vote for this man, you will be putting him on the first step for the United States to recovery, as what we all want. You just vote for him, and he'll do the rest. He needs you to get him started, and he'll do the rest, and we will be of what he's doing. I can't even tell you what the kind of pride we'll have in this country when that happens. Tell you my little story that I think is important. I've liked this story, kind of made it up myself. I always kind of thought that when I coached, I was in charge. You know, I didn't need somebody else to tell me or how to play or anything else, but I'm a great fan of the man in charge, the man or the lady in charge, and whichever mail car or what do you think? And he said, well, son, I knew this day would come. You know, all of us as parents, we've had that with our kids wanting to drive a car. I knew this would come, son, but there are some prerequisites. Number one, your grades have slipped. Number two, mom isn't real happy with the way you treat your brother and your sister. Number three, we've got a couple of other things where you're supposed to be doing some work with things and you haven't gotten it done. And these are prerequisites, son, that when you get hold of, then we'll talk about the car. But now there's one other thing too in this little group of prerequisites with the car, and it's that damn long hair of yours. I am tired of it. I've told you about it, and that's one of these prerequisites. And when you come to see me, John, then we'll talk about it when you think you have fulfilled my prerequisites. About 3 weeks later, Johnny comes in to see his dad. Dad looks at him and said, well, son, I think you're here to talk to me about prerequisites. I said, Mom is really pleased with the way you're helping with the youngers. You've done a great job with your academics. You're back in stride where you should be. And everything I've required of you you've accomplished. But John, there's one thing left, and it's that damn long hair that you still have. And John looked at his dad and he said, well, Dad, now among other things, you told me that I would get an awful lot out of out of reading the Bible, not necessarily the religious side of it, but all of the great things that are in it, and suggestions and thoughts and ideas. And Dad, now this is a man in charge, and that's why we need this guy, because he'll be the best man in charge in history. And here's what happened by the man in charge. At his son, and he said, you've done well, John, and yet you have not fulfilled that last prerequisite, that damn long hair of yours. Well, now, Dad, it's partly because of you, because you suggested that I spend time reading the Bible. And when I was reading the Bible, I found that Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Jesus himself all had long hair, Dad. Dad looked at him, and this is the kind of man in charge we all have. His dad looked at him, and he said, son, you are absolutely right about that. And they walked their ass off everywhere they went. And I think I think that's kind of a pretty good moniker to hang on a guy, is that he's the man in charge, and then that's what we've got here. But just a couple of things about Mr. Trump that I think you need to know about Mr. Trump are these. You know, he's got a great job, a tremendous responsibility, and he's a man that will take care of that in a way that we all want. He's got a great reputation abroad. Jobs is a big issue right now, not just in the United States, but all over the world. This man has created more jobs and hired more people than any American ever has during his lifetime to date. He's been into all kinds of things. And he's done this not just in America, but across the world. And he has a reputation, a great feeling people have for him, and his intelligence, his diligence all over the world. This man isn't just here in our country. He's a man that's highly thought of for what he's done, what he's contributed. Now, with all the businesses that he's developed and all the things that have been successful, he's also like all of us. He's had some problems. This thing went kind of screwy. This thing went wrong, like we all have. But you know, what he was able to do in all of those circumstances, and this is what we haven't had anybody in the White House be able to do, he figured out how to correct things. When something went wrong, he figured out a way to correct it. And he figured a better way to do something. And that's going to be astronomical as far as this country is concerned. A man not only gets things done, but he gets things done in the right way. And when something needs to be corrected, he can correct it. Now, I'll guarantee you a couple of things in the Trump administration. Number one, how many of you have sons, daughters, friends, or whatever, military people, kind of spread out around the world? How many, wherever they might be? Just raise your hands, wherever they might be. We in a Trump administration will never, ever have anything close to what happened in Benghazi. And those people who failed to take care of those 4 men that never came back from that Benghazi situation, that will never happen under a Trump administration. The White House and the military have not had a great relationship over the years. Donald Trump will settle that the first day he's in office, because he has a tremendous respect for the military. And with that, I want every person in here, male or female, that has had any association with any branch of the United States military to please stand. I'd like all of you to please stand. And I think that's the kind of respect that he will have for our military, and I think it will be a tremendous step forward for the United States. I mentioned the thing about jobs, so important to all of us. This man will find jobs. He'll create jobs. He'll work on having jobs for his American constituents. I just think that just be an absolute shame if we continue going in the same direction. Now, one other thing I'd like to ask you about the military is, How many Navy people did we have in the military over all these years? But you Navy people, I want you Navy people to hold your hands up. Okay, good. Now I want you to know this, though. You may not like this. I want you to know this. I spent 8 years at West Point with the Army, and Navy, I love you, I respect you, and we beat your ass every time we played you. But what we'll see now is a great relationship between the White House and the military. And they will be able to count on us, and we will be able to count on them. Another thing about Mr. Trump is he has a great ability to find people. And you got to find a lot of people in politics. And he has a lot of ability to get the right people in the right positions. And also, he has a way of getting rid of the people that shouldn't be there. And we haven't had a lot of that lately. I think that, I've talked now enough, and I'll always be grateful about the opportunity to having coached in Indiana because of you people and your approach to basketball. I hope that as I have visited with you here today, I hope that I have made an impact on your thinking relative to the opportunity that we have to make America great again and to keep America great. And to do that, we need a leader. And right there to my right is the best leader in the world. And he will far more than reach the things that we are hoping for and we want for the country. As I step away from this podium, I hope as I do that, you people will think for just a moment and you'll say to yourselves, each and every one of you, damn it, how soon can I go out and vote for that guy? And I hope that's what you all have to say. Thank you.
How's that? Good? That's good. Well, a friend of mine from Indiana said, well, if you could get Bobby Knight, that would be good. So it is welcome. So thank you very much. I have so many things to do, and I have so much time. I'm not leaving Indiana. We're going to be here.
We will make America great again.